Teacher Live number 95. All right, so let's get down to it. Let's get some good questions today. All right, here we go. First question is from Matsyendra. I'm not even sure how to say that. Matsyendra? Okay, and it's a basic question, but it's a good question. I was wondering, is des similar to an existence verb? Oh God, I love this question. Why do I like this question? Because it shows me, and anyone that knows some Japanese, that you're starting to get it. You're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Because we had a quiz. We had a quiz in the chat room going on before. We have this new thing. Before every stream, in the Ustream window, a Japanese word pops up or a phrase pops up. You hear the sound, and then you have like 20 seconds, and everyone frantically tries to type what it means. It's a really fun quiz. And one of the phrases that came in, I know made him think this. Des must be an existence verb. Well, let's talk about des. Des means all of these things, okay? Look at it. Before I even say what they are, you need to know something about des. You need to know something about Japanese. In Japanese, a lot of their verbs, every single one of their verbs to be exact, are speaker independent. It doesn't matter, whatever like let's take the verb iku, to go. Iku means I will go, he will go, she will go, we will go, they will go. It all depends on the context. You're not literally saying he or I or we, it's assumed based on the context. And that's exactly what des does too. And if you look at the meanings of des, you'll see, well, it certainly looks like an existence verb to me, right? It is, I am, he is, she is, they, I couldn't see it. They are and we are, and I'm sure I'm missing some. And by the way, thank you everyone on YouTube for pointing out every single mistake that I make. Thank you. And I really mean that without not a ton of sarcasm, but seriously, thank you, because listen, these are done live. I certainly make mistakes, and if you point them out, it means that someone else will see or not learn incorrectly, and then I will graciously say thank you very much. And if I'm ever showing you one of our books in the back and you see a mistake in the book, which just happened the other day in a pre-release version of one of the books, I put a graphic into the PowerPoint, and someone's like, hey, that's supposed to say asoko, not ako. And it was absolutely correct. Those mistakes happen. And that person is going to get a free copy of Japanese from 04. If you find a mistake in the book that I haven't previously heard about or corrected, you're going to get a free copy. No charge. I will mail it to you when book 4 is done. Thank you. All right, now, so des. It is really sort of a verb, but it's like no other verb. It doesn't work like a verb at all. Even though it is a verb. It literally is, it is, he is, she is, it's all of those things, right? But it's not a verb because you don't conjugate it like a verb. You don't say deshimasu. You don't say deshimashita. You can say deshita, which means was, I was, right? Deshita, I was, he was, she was, we were, they were. It covers all of those. And in one book I saw, in more than one book I saw this, and I hate this word. I hate this word, but I gotta say it. Des is a copula. When I first heard that, I was like, oh, that really clears it up. Des is a copula, huh? Yeah, copula. C-O-P-U-L-A, yeah. That really helps. Tons of sarcasm involved in that sentence. Because what's a copula? You don't know. Just imagine, des means all these things that I just said. That's it, as long as you know that. Now, if you add a ka to the des, it becomes a question. I just want to cover that before we get to the next section. So you add a ka and it becomes, is it? Am I? Is he? Is she? I mean, for example, you're at a party, someone comes up to you and they say, Tanaka-san desu ka? Tanaka-san desu ka? Are you Tanaka-san? Well, I'm not, right? What if he points to a girl at the party and says, Tanaka-san desu ka? Now it means, is she Tanaka-san? Now he points to a boy. Tanaka-san desu ka? Is he Tanaka-san? It's just context at that point. Context teaches you what it means. All right. Now, let's look at this very simple sentence. Chiketto wa nanmai desu ka? This is from book 1, and this was sort of part of the quiz that showed up in the pre-chat. In the pre-stream, I mean. So, チケットは何枚ですか? チケットは, speaking of tickets, ticket is the thing we're talking about. 何枚, how many flat objects is what that is. That's the how many counter for flat objects. 枚. 何枚ですか? Literally what you're saying is, how many tickets is it? How many tickets is it? Right? But if you're looking at a table, for example, if you're at a movie theater and you walk up to the window and the guy says to you, チケットは何枚ですか? It would mean how many tickets is it? It would mean is it there. But if we're counting a bunch of things and we're getting ready for some big convention and I've got a bunch of tickets, I could say チケットは何枚ですか? Now it means how many tickets are there? You see, the problem is not the Japanese, the problem is the English. The English is changing based on the context, not the Japanese. The Japanese always is, speaking of the tickets, 何枚ですか? How many are there? Or how many is it? Either way, it's the same thing in Japanese. It's the English that changes. Okay? But you could have this sentence too. You could say, チケットは何枚ありますか? Now, ありますか always means how many are there in this case. チケットは何枚ありますか? But if you have both sentences stacked up, if I say to him, if I'm counting those things and then my guy says to me, チケットは何枚ありますか? Or チケットは何枚ですか? It means the exact same thing. It does mean how many tickets are there. Now, coincidentally, if I'm at the window of the movie theater, he wouldn't say ever to me, チケットは何枚ありますか? Because then it means how many tickets do I have? It doesn't mean how many tickets is it. That's when ですか is a little bit more powerful, or a lot more powerful, because you couldn't say ありますか. If I said to him, チケットは何枚ありますか? Now I'm being very specific. How many tickets are there? How many do you have? Maybe he's going to sell out before I buy it. That's sort of the difference between what des and あります does. But is des an existence verb? Sort of, yeah, absolutely. It's used just like it. As I just showed you, it could be exact, because あります, ある, is an existence verb, 100%. And des is doing the exact same thing as that existence verb. Let's look at these two sentences, right? We just talked about them. チケットが10枚です or チケットが10枚あります. There are 10 tickets. They both mean the same thing in this case. Are they always interchangeable? Absolutely not. Des can never be do you have, but it can be are there. Thank you. That is an excellent question, and I hope I've cleared it up for you. Next question is from Unko-kun. Unko-kun, sorry. Unko-kun says, and I was very surprised to see this question from Unko-kun because he's such an advanced student, but it just goes to show you, sometimes even when you know a bunch of advanced stuff, you don't know some of the basics. It happens. Unko-kun says, I always thought colors had a noun and iro, which means color, iro after it, such as chairo, and the cha, the noun is tea. So cha-iro, chairo, tea color to mean brown. And then a no to modify another noun. In other words, you need a no after the chairo before the noun to make it a modifier. We're going to talk about that in a second. However, I saw that there was chairoi as well. There is chairoi, which is listed as an adjective. Let's talk about it. First, I'm going to tell you right now, there are two types of colors. There's noun colors, and by the way, this exists in Korean too. There are noun colors and there are adjective colors. Let's look at the noun colors. Here we go. Murasaki, purple. Midori, green. Orange, orange. Pink, pink. Kon. Ooh, what's kon? Kon? I never heard that color. I know some of you haven't ever heard of kon. You know orange and you know gray, which is gray. But what is kon? Anyone in the chat room know what kon is without looking it up? Kon. It sounds like cone, yeah. C-O-N-E. Smart Alec. Kon. It's not black. It's dark blue. It looks a little bit black, but look here. It's dark blue. Kon. Kon. Matter of fact, there's a joke. Nah, we won't do it. Nah, we'll do it. There's a joke. What's the Okami's favorite color? What's the favorite color of the wolf? It's kon. Why? Why is it dark blue? Because that's the sound that they make when they howl in Japanese. Kon, 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 kon. What's his favorite soup? Kon soup. This is a kid's riddle. All right. All right, so those are some noun colors, and here's some other noun colors right here. Other very familiar colors. You got aka, red, ao, blue, kiro for yellow, shiro, black, kuro, white, and chairo, brown. And what does that mean, a noun color? What does that mean? I've just given you 12 colors. Well, it means that you must have the noun color plus no plus the thing. Always. So if you want to say, for example, red pencil, aka no enpitsu. Black cat, kuro no neko. White cloud, shiro no kumo. Kumo also means spider, but a white spider would be really scary, wouldn't it? Okay, so that's what nouns do, but you're absolutely correct that there are some colors that have, like chairoi and i. Again, look at this last thing. Chairo is right there as a noun version. It exists. But these colors right here, and I want you to look, what is special about these colors, right? Just for a second, what colors are these? Look at these. You got the primary colors, right? These are the primary. Red, blue, and yellow are the primary colors. And these, let's call these the earth colors. White, black, and brown. These colors have adjective versions. And they are just those colors with an E on the end. Akai, aoi, chairoi, shiroi, kuroi, and kiroi. I think I read that out of order, I'm sorry. And what does that mean? What does an adjective color mean? It means it can directly modify a word without the no. You just say, for example, red cup, akai koppu. I could say aka no koppu if I chose to. I could absolutely do that because it exists, right? Because there is a noun version, but akai koppu is fine. Black cat. Remember we had kuro no neko before. I could say kuroi neko. But can I do that with these other colors? These other noun colors? No. There's only noun versions of these. Murasaki, midori, kon, pink, gray. That you can't just add an E and make them work. They don't work at all. They are indeed nouns. And in order to make any noun into an adjective in Japanese, you add a no. That's how it works. Japan is a country, right? It's a noun, Nihon. Nihon no kuruma, a Japanese car. Sweet, right? So that's it. There are 6 only. And if you just remember earth colors, primary colors, you'll know. Thank you very much for that awesome question. All right, next question is from Aichan95. She says, Georgie Dono, George Lord, Feudal Lord George, did you ever, I believe that's what Dono means. I don't even know, it's been so long. Someone, if you want to give me another, Aichan, what does Dono actually mean? Is it, I believe it's like when you're talking to your very higher up, but like it's above Sama. But no one uses this in everyday normal life except you. Feudal Lord, is it Feudal Lord? All right. Okay. All right. Aichan95 says, Joji Dono, did you ever hit a wall when you were learning Japanese? If so, how long did you stay away from it? And what inspired you not to give up? Let's talk about this wall. Did I hit a wall? I do not remember. I honestly don't remember. But I have talked about the wall, okay, in these terms to my students, okay, when I taught Japanese class. I said, this is how it works, right? So you learn Japanese, right? You feverishly learn how to count. You're like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You learn the colors. You learn how to say, where is it, doko desu ka? And you learn these real basic things, right? But then you meet a Japanese person. And that's not enough to talk to people. Dust in the air. I'm trying to grab some dust in the air. So I'm too excited. There's like dust all over the place. That's not enough to talk to people, right? So you feel stuck. You're like, I almost said a bad word, but I won't. It's like, you're like, dang it, my Japanese isn't good enough. And you sit there, like I remember, when I was, you know what? I did hit a wall. No, I didn't hit a wall, but I do remember being frustrated. And I've told this story before, but I met this girl on the ferry to Hokkaido. And her name was Asako Mikami. Mikami Asako. I remember, I will never forget because I loved her because she was cute. All right. And I wrote her a letter and she wrote me a letter. And then one day we were talking on the phone. And I remember I could not figure out how to ask, what's your favorite color? I couldn't. I didn't know how to say this very simple phrase. Sukina iro wa nan desu ka? I knew how to say, iro wa nan desu ka? What is a color? But that makes no sense. I missed the key, sukina. And it took me like 3 hours to be, iro suki desu ka? Do you like color? It didn't, it just didn't work. But that might have put me at a point where I got very upset and I felt like I was at a wall. But I'm not that type of personality. Typically when I get stuck, I get pissed. And I say, you know what? I'm not going to let this language beat me because I'm smarter than the language. And if 100 million people plus have learned Japanese, you can learn it. And do you know that every single year, over 200,000 people take the Japanese proficiency test around the world? 200,000! That's a lot of people taking that test. So if they can do it, you can do it. All right? Now, this is what I used to tell my students. So say, as you learn Japanese, okay, you're going to get to a plateau where you feel like you're not making any progress. It's literally like climbing a mountain. We've talked about this before. You're climbing a mountain. Language is this mountain, and step by step, you've got to go up it. But sometimes you get to a plateau where it's like, oh man, and you stand at this plateau. You're standing on this plateau, and you look up, and it's like, oh my God, I thought I climbed a lot, but look what I got left. And you failed to look back and see how far you've come. Because if you go to Japan, you're going to realize you speak more than you know. Because, I say this all the time, and it is so true. And those of you who are in the chat room, get ready. Here it comes. You know it. I say it almost every daily now. Chiri mo tsumoreba yama to naru. Even specks of dust, when piled up, become a mountain. For example, I'm going to write a piece. Give me a second. I'll show you something. I'll show you something right now that if you haven't seen this Aichan, it's going to blow your mind. All right? All right. There's an amazing thing about the human brain. The human brain is literally the most amazing thing ever. If you teach the human brain something, it can't not know it. It can't not know what it learned. Does that make sense? For example, if I said to you 1 + 1, you can't not know that that's 2. You can fake not knowing, but you can't not solve that problem in your brain. Here's another one. 2 × 2. Everyone right now in their mind saw the 4. Here, I'm going to give you a word. I'm going to write it in hiragana even. Ready? I'm going to show you a word. Don't comprehend it. Don't understand it. You realize how weird that sounds? It doesn't even make sense to say it. Hey, could you not understand what I'm saying just for a second? You can't say that. It's not possible. It's why when you're driving in your car and you see a billboard, you can't not read it. You get the message delivered to your brain. I'm going to show you this word. Don't understand it. Ready? Yep. That's it right there. Now, some of you might have got confused. Oh, the hiragana. I thought it was a ne. No, it's a nu. Inu. 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 You can't not know it. You can't not know it. It's dog, and you immediately. If I said to you a word and you didn't know it, neko. If you didn't know it, you wouldn't hear it. But you know it, and you can't not see a cat when you hear it. So, there is no plateau for real. It's a mental state of you thinking you suck. Guess what? Everyone sucks in the beginning. But as you learn words, the way it works is this. You hear this. This is what Japanese is in the beginning. Don't know where a word starts. Don't know where a word ends. Then you hear about these particles called wa and ga and mo and ni and o. And you start hearing patterns. You hear these patterns and you start, oh, well, now I'm starting to see where words are ending because I know that pretty much particles are you realize that, right? You realize how particles, and then you start learning more and more and more words, and all of a sudden, neko ga desu ka? You didn't understand the middle part, but you understood almost everything else. And before long, your brain automatically, by the way, I'm not smart at all. I just learned more stuff than you. That's the only difference between me and you. I learned more than you, and my brain has more information in it. That's it. I'm learning Korean now, and I can tell you, I blow myself away because I hear the same Korean songs I've been listening to. I cannot for the life of me memorize the lyrics because I don't know any of the words, right? But now I'm learning. Every single day I'm learning new words, right? And now I hear it. And I hear verb patterns now. Even though I don't know the verb, I know that shipoyo means want to do. Like if you knew that shitai, ikitai, tabetai, that tai means want to do. You'll start hearing the pattern even if you don't know the verb. In Korean, I'm hearing the negative verb pattern, and I don't even know the verb that they're talking about. I just know, oh, they said something like, kimasen deshita, masen deshita. Oh, masen deshita in Japanese is didn't do. I don't know what they didn't do, but I know I heard it. So your job, Aichan, your job is very simple, and the plan for everybody learning Japanese is really, really simple. learn patterns, learn verbs, learn adjectives, learn nouns, and keep hammering and hammering and hammering and hammering. And what will happen is, blah, 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 will start sounding like something that you understand. It will happen automatically. Matter of fact, there will be a day where all of a sudden, you'll be watching Japanese TV and you'll be zoning out. Maybe you're playing Tetris. Maybe you're on your iPhone playing Drop 7, which is a game I like to play, and you'll hear a phrase, and without any effort on your part, you'll understand it. And you'll know. You'll know. I'm there. I've hit a level of fluency because all I do is I fed my brain. So don't get stuck. Move forward. The only reason you get stuck is if you stop. It's like the stock market. You only lose money when you, well, I guess if the company goes out of business, and if you sell the stock when it's down, right? So don't sell your language when it's down. Keep it going. Keep pushing it, pushing it, pushing it, pushing it, and you will. You cannot not get fluent. Does that make sense? You cannot not get fluent. I think I said what I wanted to say on that. I love that question. It's an excellent question. And the only reason I'm fluent is because I learned more words than you. That's it. That's it. It's the only reason anyone gets fluent. Why do you think these guys in the chat room are so good? They study every day, right? They're not gonna be the best. I'm not even the best, but guess what? I understand what's told to me because I learned all the words. And will you make mistakes? Yes. Will you forget half the things that you learn? Yes. Here's the thing though. If you forget half of what you learn it again and you'll learn the other 25%. Keep learning. Eventually you'll get them all. Eventually it's a matter of time. Thank you for the question. Oops. Need to not have a lock on my iPad because who actually uses it but me? All right. Next question, and I believe it's the final question, is from Eskimo Joe. She says, "Hey George." I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" "Hey George, earlier in the quiz," now again, she's talking about the quiz that was on the stream, "the word samuso came up, which meant seems cold. Kawaii Butterfly," another Yes Japan member, explained to me that to say seems plus adjective, you drop the E and add so. How does it work with na adjectives though? He seems kind, for example. Good question. Let's talk about what this so thing is, right? It's any E adjective, drop the E, that's a minus by the way. I wish the minus was a little bit longer, but it's minus E plus so. And then you're literally saying it looks like this. For example, a pizza comes into the room, right? Atsui, hot. It looks hot. Atsuso. Atsuso. You can add a des after that. You can do whatever you need to do. Atsuso desu ne. Wow, it sure looks hot, right? You look outside, it's snowing like crazy. It looks cold, right? Samui. Samuso. Samuso desu ne. Wow, it really looks cold outside. Kyou wa samuso desu ne. Today looks cold. Right? It's very easy. You just drop that E. And let's take that. He seems kind, by the way, because there is an E adjective form of to be kind, right? Or not to be kind, but kind. It's yasashi. Yasashi. Yasashi so. Seems kind. But there is a na adjective form. What's a na adjective and what's an E adjective? Well, let me just give you a little bit of a history lesson. Yasashi, samui, anything that ends in an E is almost always going to be an E adjective. And what that means is that you can plop it right in front of a word directly and modify. Okay? You don't have to put anything there. It just means like hot tea. Atsui ocha, right? Atsui ocha. Just pop it right in front. Don't need anything else after it. But what about a na adjective? That's an adjective that doesn't end in an E almost all the time. Sometimes it does end in an E, but it's very rare. Like kirei. I give this example every time because it's the most famous one. But kirei is pretty, but it's not an E adjective, so it needs a na adjective in order to modify. For example, let's say onna, woman, right? Kirei onna. You can't say that to say pretty woman. It has to be kirei na onna. Kirei na onna. That's how it works. But how do you say seems pretty or seems convenient or seems kind? Let's do it the other version of kind. First one was yasashi. This one is shinsetsu. Shinsetsu means kind. Well, it's really simple. You just add so. And this works 100%. Shinsetsu so desu. Okay? Shinsetsu so. Now, weirdly, I never really realized that you just add the so. I always thought it had to be da so plus da and then so. But it's not true. It's I use it all the time. Benri-so, it seems convenient, right? Kirei-so. Kirei, by the way, can mean clean also, not just pretty. Kirei-so, like he looks like a clean person. Kirei-so na hito. Oh, sorry. That's a little bit more than I wanted to go. I used so and then I turned it into another na adjective. Let me just teach it to you. So you can take the seems, like atsu-so, seems hot. You can now make that into a na adjective. Atsu-so is a na adjective. Any adjective with so on the end of it is a na adjective all by itself, meaning seeming hot. That's the adjective. So you could say, atsu-so na pizza desu. It's a hot looking pizza. Kirei-so na hito. A clean looking person. A seemingly clean person. Takaso means it seems expensive. Takaso na kuruma means an expensive looking car. So that's like bonus. I wasn't even planning on going there, but you could take your so modified adjective and continue use it again as a modifier using na. All right. Now, what I want to say about this daso is for a second with these na adjectives is kirei daso desu, right? Kirei daso. That does mean seems pretty or clean, but it's more of an apparently. Apparently, it's convenient. Benri daso desu. Apparently. Even though it seems convenient, it's more of a nuance of apparently it's convenient. All right. Now, let's take it one step further, because I promised her I would. You can take any u form verb, iku, to go, and add so desu. It seems like they're going to go. Apparently they're going. Iku so desu. Seems like they're going. It's likely that they're going to go. Iku so desu. Taberu so desu. It seems that he's going to eat it. See how that works? Just add so to your verb. And you'll see, I'm not going to give them all to you. Those of you guys on YouTube, sometimes you're a little bit rough. But please point out if you have more awesome things with so. Trust me, I know there's a lot more, but you can only do so much in one little web show. But comments are everything. Please, those of you guys that are watching YouTube comments, YouTube videos, check the comments out. Sometimes people, A, point out a mistake, or B, really give me a hard time for not taking it a level further, and then a lot of times they give you that further information that you want. And I make a point of, if they've said something that's correct, I make a point of saying, yeah, that's right, awesome, thank you. And if they're wrong, I almost always will say, hey, you know what, actually, you're wrong. And that way the comments on YouTube can be good. And by the way, if you see a comment that you know is correct, please upvote it. All right, even if it's pointing out my mistake, I'm cool with that. All right. That is it. Thank you. If you would like to get involved with YesJapan.com, you can upload a question to me if you'd like via a video. Please keep the question very short as much as you can. You can upload it at YesJapan.com/upload. If you'd like to know when we do these shows, if you'd like to come into the chat room and ask me these questions live like everyone did today, all you have to do is follow us on Twitter. And you're certainly welcome to like us on Facebook, although I really don't work with the Facebook that well. And you can subscribe to this YouTube channel. And you can get these shows that go on YouTube also delivered to your Android or iOS device by subscribing to our podcast. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all on the next Yes Japan Ask Teacher Live. Bye-bye.